Another question from Cora. When do you register trademarks for your product if you are an early stage startup? My name is Andrei Minkoff. I'm the founder of Trademark Factory. I've answered hundreds of questions like this one on this channel, and if you click this video, it tells me you probably would benefit from subscribing, because you would see a lot more of these questions answered. I answer questions about trademarks, about intellectual property, about branding, about entrepreneurship. And if you got a question for me, make sure you post a comment below and I'll answer it in the video just like this one. So going back to the original question, when do you register trademarks for your product if you're an early stage startup? Here's my answer to this question. It depends. It depends on one thing and one thing only. How much do you believe that your startup will be successful? If you are certain that your business has a chance of becoming successful, you gotta do it as early as you possibly can, because there's no reason in the world to spend a minute of your life or $1 out of your pocket building a brand you don't own. It's funny because that's the question we hear all of the time. It's probably the most commonly asked question about trademarking. When is the right time? When is the right time? When is the right time? Well, the right time is now. If you're thinking about it, it's either too late or it's the right time, because it's often too late but never too early. And like I said, the only thing that's the variable is how much you believe in your ability to build something that would become successful. There are countless stories of brands that trademark way before they launch. Right? Uber trademarked 2 months before they launched. Stripe trademarked 8 months before they launched. Coca-Cola filed their first trademark in 1892 when they were selling 9 drinks a day. Airbnb filed their first trademark while the founder was still renting out his own bedroom on Airbnb. And here's another example, kind of a more recent one. The company that's in the rental of scooters business, Bird, just became the fastest company to get to $1 billion valuation. Right? It took them just over a year. Listen to their story. They were founded on September 1st. And on September 14th of the same year, they filed their first trademark. Took them 13 days. Right? So when do you register trademarks for your product if you're an early stage startup? If you believe that you can become big, you do it right away. Because when you come up with your startup, first you come up with an idea, right? You're gonna do something differently. You're gonna provide some value to the marketplace that people are gonna enjoy so much, they're gonna be paying you a lot of money, right? And as soon as you come up with that idea, what's the next thing you're thinking of? Usually a name. How do we call this thing? And there's a reason you came up with that name. You've got that emotional connection to it. It means something to you. And you're dreaming of one day that the name you came up with will mean something to the world, will mean something to your target market. And you spend days and days and months and sometimes years and hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands of dollars building this. And what if by the time you realize that, okay, now I'm ready, then you realize that the name you came up with, you can't have it? What if it's a name you can't own because someone already has it? Someone had trademarked it before you did. So all of these hours and emotions that you've poured into your baby, you have to go back to the drawing board and start again. And how would it feel if you realize that the reason why you can't trademark your brand is that somebody had filed your trademark after you launched, after you came up with this idea, but before you actually decided to trademark? What if you realized that it was so easy to prevent if only you filed your trademark a few days earlier, maybe a few months earlier? How would you feel about that? So the cost of trademarks, the cost of trademarking is negligible compared to the value that it can build for you and your business. The cost of trademarking is negligible compared to what you're going to spend on lawyers if they have to fight in court over who owns the brand. So if you're serious about it, make sure you do it as early as you can. Probably shouldn't be the first thing you do because you want to see if the idea is viable, but don't disclose your brand to the world. Right? First, validate the idea. That's perfectly okay. If you're not sure that the idea is viable, go out there and validate the idea. Don't tell them about your brand. And then check if the brand is available. If it is, make sure you trademark it right away. And if the brand is not available, don't keep building the brand that you can't own. That's probably the dumbest thing you could do. Well, I understand you could be married to a brand, but as one of our clients said, and I love how he put it, he said, if you're married to a brand you can't own, get a divorce. Come up with something new. So that's my answer to this question. I hope you found it useful. If it is useful for you, if you learned something new, make sure you like this video and post a comment below if you've got a comment, if you've got some feedback, or if you've got a question, also post a comment below and I'll do my best to answer your question. And if that's what you do, make sure you subscribe, because how else would you know that I've answered your question, right? And until then, I will see you in the next video.